going on, guys? So I just received a call from the freighting company that is currently delivering a huge package to my house right now. Originally this package wasn't supposed to come in until like noon to 4, but it seems like it's going to get delivered around 11 o'clock, so I'm currently rushing home from work so I can be there to be able to receive this package. This is the problem when dealing with freighting companies I've experienced. It seems like they're never consistent about their delivery times, but we'll go ahead and get to the house, and you guys are going to get to see for the first time what it is that I have coming in the mail for the 370. Alright guys, and just like that, I am finally back home now. I've got the 370 moved over to make room for the delivery of the parts that are coming in today. And since the delivery guy isn't here, I guess I have time to tell you guys what it is that I have ordered. So as you guys know, back in November, I had a minor incident with the 370 where I ended up backing over a pole, and this caused some minor damage to the car, including scuffing up some of the bumpers. And I could have lived with it probably, but I used it as an excuse to order the Nismo bumpers that I currently have on the car. At the time, I was looking at ordering one of the parts that I have coming in today, but since I had ordered the bumpers, I was a little disappointed that I hadn't picked this part up. But I found out that Fly1 Motorsports was having a Black Friday sale. Most of their parts are usually on sale during major holidays, including the piece that I have coming in, as well as a couple of the other parts that I ordered. So I went ahead and jumped the gun and picked these up. So this is what I have coming in the mail today, guys. I have Fly1 Motorsports AMS GT hood done in honeycomb carbon fiber, and I also have the partial carbon fiber RS1 vented fenders from Fly1 coming in as well. The partial carbon on these is going to also be in the honeycomb carbon fiber. This is an option they don't really offer on their website, but I had them custom make it for me to be able to match the hood, and of course the mirror covers as well, which, as you guys saw in my previous video, I recently ordered from EvoR. They're looking really nice on there. Again, difficult to see because of the amount of lighting that's out right now. But that's what I have coming in. I'm really excited for this, and I hope you guys are as excited for these parts as I am. I will probably be installing the hood today. The fenders will probably have to wait till the weekend, simply because they're probably going to require some work to get them to fit properly. Fiberglass is notorious for being difficult. Hopefully we won't run into too many issues, though. You guys will get to see that. But we'll go ahead and get started on taking the OEM hood off. I'm probably going to go ahead and do this myself. Should you do this on your own? Absolutely not. Should you have a friend help you? Yes. Am I going to do this on my own? I'm going to try. So let's see if we can get this done. Let's try and take the hood off. Alright guys, and all of the stuff is finally here. Unfortunately, I'm still working on trying to get the hood out. The problem is you have all these clips here that are kind of holding in the little windshield wiper fluid lines, and those clips are on there pretty tight, and I'm afraid to tug on them too hard because I don't want to end up breaking them, because they're going to be reused most likely on the new hood. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pop the hood open and see if there are any instructions possibly that Fly1 sends you, maybe to make this a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and get the hood unboxed. And here's how the hood comes shipped from Fly1 Motorsports. I'm actually surprised how little packing material they put in here. But it seems like it's fairly secure, and they got plenty of bubble wrap surrounding the hood itself. They've also got this, I think this is just a bag of packing peanuts, but it looks like we may not have any sort of instructions or anything, so I may be on my own as far as getting the hoses disconnected. But we'll go ahead and get the hood unwrapped. Alright, and I've got the hood open now, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. Really love the honeycomb pattern that is also, of course, in the mirrors. This is going to look really nice. The only problem is the new bolts that came in are going to make it a little bit difficult to do this by myself, so I'm probably going to need to get some help, because normally on the stock hood, the threads are already in the hood itself, so that kind of holds it onto the latch. But since they're separate on this hood, I will need a second hand to do this, so I'll probably get my brother to help me out a little bit later. For now, we're gonna go ahead and get all of the hoses disconnected here, as well as these latches on the hood, so that way when I get some help we can go ahead and just pop this straight onto the car and get this rolling. So we'll go ahead and get all that stuff taken off. All right, it took me a while to figure out how to work with these clips here that hold on the windshield wiper fluid reservoir. What you want to do is you want to come in from the side along the length of the hose just to kind of get it started there. And then you want to make sure you pull the clip along the direction of the hose, because that's what actually loosens it. Maybe loosen it up a little bit more with the flathead, and you can already see the clips coming out. With these little hooks right here, what you want to do is undo the plastic clip that's currently attaching it to the hood. You can slide the plastic sleeve off, and then you're just going to twist the little hook here to thread it out, because they're just set in to some threads in the hood. For the rubber stops here, normally you can just twist these off. Takes a little bit of force, but you're just going to keep twisting these to be able to pull both this one out and the one on the left side. There we go. And then to undo this piece, it looks like we just have two bolts, one on this side and one right there. Alright, so the hood is now prepped to be taken off. I've removed the hose as well as the different latching points here on the center of the hood. And I was just checking out the hood that Fly1 sends you, and sadly it looks like they don't supply you with the square holes to be able to remount your windshield wiper fluid reservoir line. So there's two options here. You can either go and cut the square peg holes into your hood to be able to remount these, or what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go ahead and cut my windshield wiper fluid reservoir line. I know you guys are probably going to roast me for this, but I usually never use it at all, and on the Sentra I've had a leak in mine for several years, so I don't really use it that often. So later when I go and pull the bumper and the fenders off, I'm going to go ahead and just pull out the windshield wiper fluid reservoir and just do away with that. Again, I know you guys are probably going to be hating on me for that, but I don't use it that often. It's not a big deal for me. So we'll go ahead and take that off and then continue with this install. Guys, this hood looks fantastic. I really love the honeycomb pattern that's in this. The hood actually fits surprisingly well. It just has a little bit of a large gap here on the inside, but as far as gaps go, they're pretty even. It's not like off center or anything. It's a little short here on the hood. You can see kind of the top of the bumper sitting out here on the front, but it actually fits better than I was expecting, so I'm really happy with that. We're about to go ahead and open up the fenders, but first I've got my shipping label printed to be able to send back the vinyl that Vivid originally sent me, because again, it was the wrong color. It turns out, so I was emailing Vivid to try and get the vinyl that I wanted restocked, and they said they restocked it, but it was only a limited supply that they had. So I went ahead and ordered 50 feet of it, and not but 10 minutes later it was out of stock again. So I managed to just in time get the vinyl that I'm going to need to finish wrapping the car in that space pearl. And apparently it's really difficult to get any right now. But that should be coming in the mail here in the next week or so. I'm kind of hoping that I get it by the weekend so I can at least go and wrap the hatch and maybe some of the other parts of the car. But most of this weekend is going to be spent trying to get these fenders to fit correctly, because again, the fiberglass can be a bit tricky. But let's go ahead and get this sent off to the UPS store. We'll get this back to Vivid. See, a lot of people think you can't carry any sizable amount of luggage inside the Z, but I'm carrying this box just fine. Whoever says the Z isn't practical simply just doesn't know what they're talking about. Guys, I just got home and I got an email from Vivid, and the vinyl that I tried to order is out of stock again. This is really difficult. I'm trying to get this vinyl right now because I really want to finish wrapping the car, and apparently you can't get it from Vivid, you can't get it from Amazon. I found one vendor on eBay that supposedly has a 50-foot roll, so I just ordered that. He's charging a premium for it. It's like $500 instead of, I think, $375 from Vivid. So got that ordered. Hopefully that'll be in the mail pretty soon, and I can continue getting this wrap underway. But yeah, so we still have some fenders to open up. Alright guys, and here are the fenders as they come out of the box. I went for the partial honeycomb carbon fiber to be able to match the hood. We can see that honeycomb pattern in there. And then of course the fiberglass. I went for the partial because originally I was planning on painting these because I don't want to just make the entire fender carbon fiber, just the vents on here. I tried to check the fitment by putting these up against the OEM fenders, and the fitment looks like it'll be okay, but there's really no knowing until I actually go and try to install these. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm planning on attempting to get them to fit this weekend so that it's acceptable. But the real concern I have is trying to polish these up by getting out some of the imperfections on the actual bodywork itself. It looks for the most part okay, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to sand this down and maybe prime it with something to be able to get the vinyl to be able to stick correctly. So I don't know how that goes, but it should be a fun project. I don't know what I'll spray down to get the vinyl to stick. If you guys have worked with vinyl before or you're a professional at this, what's something that I can put down to get the vinyl to adhere correctly so I don't risk the vinyl coming up later on? Comment down below if you have any ideas. But it should be a fun project. It's also probably going to take a while. I don't see myself finishing this until maybe mid to late February, but we'll see. I can really only work on this on weekends. Alright guys, and it is the next morning now. I've had some time to look at the fenders, and the condition is a little bit worse than I was anticipating. One of the corners is starting to develop a crack in it, so I'll need to somehow patch that up to prevent that from breaking. There are a couple of places where I'll probably need to do a bit of body work, maybe with some body filler, just to try and patch it up and make it a bit smoother. And there are some areas that I think I might need to reinforce as well, especially the little tabs at the front where the fender is supposed to mount, because it is flexing quite a bit, so I may end up putting in some sort of support there to keep it from breaking. The carbon fiber vents themselves actually look really nice. The finish is perfect. I love the honeycomb pattern on it. It'll of course match the hood. In hindsight, I probably would have gone with the full carbon fiber fenders just because they supposedly fit the car much better. There aren't as many issues with fitment, and the finish would have been perfect. But we'll go ahead and salvage these to be able to install them on the car. Will just require a little bit of work. It'll be kind of a fun project. In the meantime, we'll finish installing this hood. I've pretty much got it all set up. You can see, of course, the carbon fiber pattern coming through there really nicely, but we do still have some things that we need to do to get this perfect. Last night off camera, I did drill a location here to be able to stick the hood prop so it can actually hold the hood up. And I also installed the plastic sleeves that go on these hood latches as well to be able to keep them from rotating around. Just drilled another hole on either side to be able to stick these clips in. And just a quick note guys, when you are working with fiberglass, I highly recommend wearing gloves and probably something to cover your nose and mouth, because the fiberglass shards that will be coming off the little fibers can end up giving you what are called fiberglass splinters, and it just basically ends up causing your skin to be pretty irritated. You also don't want to inhale any of this stuff for the same reason. You don't want to get it into your lungs. So just make sure you guys are careful when you are working with fiberglass material. And the only other thing we need to do to get this hood finished on installing is probably go and get some new hardware to be able to mount it to the hinge. The bolts that Z1 supplies you have too small of a head to be able to cover the hole in the hinge, so we'll go ahead and buy some slightly nicer bolts here to be able to cover that, and we'll probably get some washers as well just to hold the head. So apparently, and I'm just finding this out now, it snowed last night. Would you look at that? Well, I say snow, it's more like a dusting, really. We don't really get a whole lot of snow here in Texas, but I guess there's our one snow day for the year. So I just found out watching the video back for the cold start that apparently my taillights might be broken. Well, when I say that, what I mean is the nighttime running lights, when you turn the headlights on, they apparently aren't working. The taillights only light up when I hit the brake, but they don't turn on with the headlights. So I get to add that to the list of things I need done, of which there are many. I need to get the tail lights fixed now. I need to get the new bolts for the hood. I need to pull out the windshield wiper reservoir. I need to clean the hood vents. I am waiting on the spoiler so I can install that. Waiting on the vinyl so I can wrap my car. And there are some maintenance items that I'm still missing here. I need to raise the car up and stiffen it because it's currently scraping right now. What are some of the other things I need done here? I need to raise the car and stiffen the suspension because it's currently scraping on everything. I need to refinish the spoiler mounts because they're currently really dirty, and I need to polish them off before I install the new spoiler that I have coming in. I need to fit the fenders. I need to prep the fenders to be able to wrap them. I need to order new mufflers because the current ones are currently scuffed up and dented. I need to fix the speaker system because the tweeter on the left side is currently going out. I need to permanently fix the brake lines because right now they're wrapped in electrical tape to prevent them from rubbing on anything in the suspension, and I don't want my brake fluid leaking. My undershroud is currently a bit scraped up from the fact that I lowered the car, and I can't really get to the oil filter right now with that on, so I need to figure that out. I have a project actually I'm working on with the spoiler to make it dynamic, but I'll talk about that a little later. And I need new tires, because the current ones I have are almost bald. Yeah. If there's a lesson to be learned here, it's don't modify your car. It's expensive. But we should have everything fixed on the car soon, hopefully. I am trying to get this car showed at Nismo Fiesta in April. I'm hoping to have most of my projects complete by then so I can show the car and actually get it running correctly again. Hello, officer. But anyways, yeah. So I mentioned that I was working on a project to try and make the spoiler dynamic. What I mean by that is I want my spoiler to be able to adjust angles according to speed and braking pedal position. And I am currently working on programming a microcontroller to be able to interface with the car so that way it can control the spoiler. So this right here is a Texas Instruments launchpad that uses the MSP432 microcontroller, and then it has like this little expansion card on it that allows you to interface with Bluetooth Classic. I chose their launchpad because they already have what's called the serial communication protocol for Bluetooth already implemented in an example project. So I'm going to use that to try and communicate with the car's Bluetooth OBD2 port. I've actually already got it communicating with it and saying hello, so I can query the Bluetooth device and determine what the version number is of the adapter. I'm still working on actually being able to ask the car for information. I'm going to have it look for the brake pedal position and the speed. Those should be the only two things I really need to control the spoiler. I may end up expanding that list of things later if I end up wanting to increase the functionality of the project. But I wouldn't expect this to actually come to fruition because a dynamic spoiler is a really complicated system. Not really for the software side of things. I'm pretty sure I can get that programmed just fine. I do have a background in computer engineering, so I'm not too worried about that part. But the actual dynamics of the spoiler itself, the mechanics and the way it's laid out, that could be a bit more tricky. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get that to work correctly. But it is just a fun little side project I'm doing, but for now I have to try and get some of the other things fixed on the car first. So I actually just arrived at the Home Depot. We'll go ahead and grab the bolts that I'm going to need, and then I might go ahead and pop the hood real quick and see if I can locate the fuse for the rear taillights. I'm hoping that it's just a blown fuse that occurred while I was taking off the bumpers or reinstalling my fourth brake light. So hopefully that's the issue, and then we can stop by an auto parts store and do that. Alright, we've got the hardware now to be able to remount the hood. Unfortunately, they didn't really have a whole lot as far as bolts go. I basically ended up picking up the exact same bolts but a little bit longer and in the yellow zinc color. Also managed to get some washers though. That was kind of the important thing that I was looking for. I'm going to go ahead and check the fuse box real quick to see if I can locate where the fuse is for the rear taillights. I suspect what happened was because I snipped the wires when I was taking out the original fourth brake light. I didn't really cover the tips very well, so I suspect it probably shorted on the body and blew the fuse out for the nighttime running lights. So I'm gonna see if I can locate that fuse inside the fuse box. Alright, so it looks like that didn't fix the problem. I went and turned the headlights on, but the taillights did not illuminate. This means that there's probably a short somewhere on one of the taillights or where the fourth brake light is because the fuse was once again blown. So I'm going to go ahead and just put everything back together, and we'll go ahead and finish installing the hood for now, and I'll probably make a separate video on getting that fixed. And And that is my honeycomb carbon fiber hood now securely installed on the car, and I am absolutely loving the look of this hood. Fitment is fairly good, just some minor issues as far as large gaps with the fenders, but that's not really too big of an issue for me. The look of the honeycomb pattern is what I bought this hood for, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I chose it to stand out from other hoods that are in carbon fiber with a traditional weave, because you don't see very many honeycomb carbon fiber parts out there. Again, I bought the mirror caps as well to be able to match with this. Love the look of the hood overall. The vents in it, believe it or not, are actually functional. They do lead into and vent air from the engine compartment, which is also a really nice feature. This may cause some issues as far as getting water or dirt into the engine compartments, but I may end up putting some sort of stopper or cover over the vents to be able to daily drive it so that I can keep the engine bay clean. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. And then of course I also have those partial carbon fiber honeycomb fenders that I do need to get installed as well. That's probably going to be a little bit longer than I expected. I was originally planning on trying to fit those this weekend, but the issues with the taillights now and a couple of the other items that I have to get maintenance on this car means I probably will be holding off on the fenders for a little bit until I get some other things fixed on the car. That'll be quite the project because, again, fiberglass is notably difficult to work with, but I should be able to get it all done myself. And then, of course, we're waiting on the vinyl wrap to come in. I've been talking with Vivid. They're still out of stock right now, and the vendor that I originally purchased from on eBay, he's not talking to me, so I suspect that's not coming in. But hopefully we'll be seeing some new vinyl in stock pretty soon, within a couple of weeks, and then we should be able to make some progress as far as getting the car wrapped. And then an update on the spoiler that I have coming in to replace my GT spoiler. That should be coming in about 3 weeks according to the email that I just received, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. I may not be able to install it as soon as I get it, just depends on if I have the vinyl wrap in hand, because I plan on wrapping the hatch before reinstalling that spoiler, but we'll see how that goes. And then just to update you guys on the Nismo bumper conversion tutorial, I gave you guys part 1 of that, which was uninstalling the OEM bumpers, but I haven't uploaded part 2 yet, simply because I didn't know if I was going to be taking the bumpers off to have them repainted or not. But because I'm going to be wrapping the car, I'll go ahead and edit and upload the original video I had when I got these bumpers installed first. The only issue is because of time constraints and because of the paint mismatch, I didn't really feel like talking that much in the video. But I'll go ahead and voice that over for you guys, so that way y'all can get an idea of how you install the Nismo bumpers. Just understand that that conversion is not finished yet. I still need to get the DRLs for the car, because right now I just have the holes in the bumper where the DRLs are supposed to go. I'm not sure I really care to do OEM for that, because the OEM DRLs are like 1,200 bucks. So I may end up getting the Evo R DRL lights for the Nismo bumper, or I may end up making some myself. Not sure what I'm going to do there. And then there are still like a couple of parts that I'm trying to figure out. This is something to put on the fenders. I haven't been able to figure out how to install these yet. If any of y'all know, go ahead and let me know. But there are still a couple of things that I need to finish on the Nismo bumpers to get it perfect, but I'll go ahead and upload that tutorial for you guys, just so you get an idea of how to do it yourselves. But that is it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you're as excited as I am for the new parts that I am putting on the car. It's going to give it a much more aggressive look, and of course the honeycomb carbon fiber gives it a very unique look as well. Thank you guys for watching again, and I will see y'all in the next video with the 370Z. Later.